runway 8 kilo, you're cleared for takeoff.
And we are off. This day started out covered in fog, cold, got some good shots out of it, but it turned out nice. So I had a plan. I went up on Mount Magazine, or Magazine Mountain. There's still some gray area about what it's actually called. The Federal Department of Naming Tall Stuff calls it Magazine Mountain, Arkansas. All of its documentation lists it, its official documentation still lists it as Mount Magazine. Regardless, it has the highest point in Arkansas. So I get up there to the high point. It's got a nice little view. I made a video, but it's real windy up there. Coming down, I get to the overlook and no wind. I thought, I have a great idea. I'm going to give a little bit of view of this section of the Ozark Mountains. I even know what I'm going to name it. I'm going to go out exactly 5,280 feet and name it A Mile of Arkansas. I was confident this video was going to come out good. When I got home, covered in mud, a little bit of blood, a lot of sweat, and limping on what I still believe is a broken ankle. Wife says it's just man pain. She suggested I name this video, If You'd have asked your wife before you went, she would have told you. But we'll get there. So again, nice day. The video, I didn't really put the height and distance and all that on there because I wasn't really going for that. Especially since the height, actually I only went up about, I think, 20 feet and then straight across. So the height would have been very wrong. So I'm going out here and I'm just, oh, this is going great. Piece of cake, no problem. I hit my mile marker. I turn around and I just hit the return to home. Let it do the work. And then I go actually sit in the car. When I do, I lose connection. It's no big deal. It's going to come land right here next to me. So I sat here for a few minutes. And then it picks up telemetry again. And I noticed that it's actually further away. What happened? Then I start thinking, did it set the home? Is it trying to go to another home? What happened here? Did I not hit it? Something's odd. So I start manually doing it. And I'm watching and the numbers roll up. I'm going forward. Am I not aiming at the right place? So I start looking around thinking, something ain't right. So I must be aiming wrong. I must be going the wrong direction. So I start trying to look around to see where I am. And as you can see, bright sun, hard to really see the phone. I thought, okay, I'm just going the wrong way. So I flip around. And then the numbers are just going up faster. At this point, I'm confused. I'm like, I must be aiming at the wrong direction. I pull up the map. I'm like, I know I'm going the wrong direction now. I spin around. No matter what I do, I am still going the wrong way. And it starts dawning on me, the wind is pushing me away from the mountain. Because where I'm at, there's no wind. But obviously, once I get off the mountain, it's pretty strong. Okay, this shouldn't be that big a deal. I mean, once I kind of, still trying to figure out, am I going the right direction? Because looking at the phone, everything's just looking green. And I a couple of things I'd have thought of at the time if I'd have just looked at you know, the sun, which the sun was, but all this. But really, at this point, just little, not panicky. It's like, crap type of thing. So it'll kind of hold its own when it's trying to drive, but it's just slowly going backwards. Finally dawns on me it must be a height thing. So I start lowering the height. And I get to come forward just a little bit, but very slow and just for feet, just a few feet. So, okay. Now, at this point, and for some reason, this is where the recording and the software actually took place. It didn't do it before this. I have no idea why it cut off the first bit. But anyway, and really this was like the first strong wind warning I got. I take it back. I may have got a couple here or there, but nothing big. All the way out there, no wind warning whatsoever. And so now, again, not really panicked yet, but kind of getting there. Thinking something ain't right. So now I figure it's just a matter of getting down low enough out of the wind. So I'm trying to drop, and it finally gets to the point where I am minus about 600 feet. I was thinking, that's fine. I don't care how low, long if I can just skim the trees, get it back up, whatever I have to do to get it back closer to me. Now the bad part is, as I'm swinging around on the big video, you can see little patches of land, but I'm trying to, on my phone, it's hard to see. I can't distinguish between a pond. I mean, there's a pond. I'm like, what am I fixing to land in? I look down so I can see, okay, make sure I don't actually hit a tree trying to get down lower. And again, still slowly moving back. I still think I can kind of save it. I've got plenty of battery, not that big of a deal. Now, moving forward a little bit, felt pretty good. It's like, okay, that's the key. I just had to find the right height. But as I try to come forward, you know, any attempt to really go forward just results in nothing. I'm getting blown sideways. I think I even thought about trying to, you know, tack like a ship. And I start looking around saying, where can I land? There's nothing but little ponds around, and I couldn't really tell what was ground and what was water. I knew there was a chicken farm out in the distance. That's kind of what I was aiming for the whole ways. I'm like, there's no way I'm reaching that. So I'm still out over half my battery. I'm thinking, I'm just going to find the sweet spot out of the wind, look around, see what's what. No, it just absolutely is not happening. No matter which direction I go, I am moving, getting pushed directly away from me. I even try backing it up to me, turning face around, backing it up to me. I switched modes to speed, to position, anything to try to get it coming back to me. Nothing is going. It won't hover in place. If I take hand off the throttle, it immediately takes off. And so now, honestly, panic is starting to set in. So I start thinking, is there a place I can land it? Is there some place I can just get it on the ground? I start looking for a road. Anything not heavily treed. Now, you can see now that there are some little bare patches, but on the phone up there. I could not tell. I could not tell what was just dirty pond water, what was dirt. So I'm looking for any landmark that I can reach. Is there a farm, there a house, or a road, anything that I can set this down on that I have a prayer of retrieving it. And I'm cutting out, just, intermittently losing signal because I'm getting further and further away. Now, the bad part is I actually filmed this on Monday, February 24th, which is my birthday. And this was one of the big ones that end with a 0. And if you say 60, I will ban you from my channel. And at this exact time where I'm trying to fight, trying to get in all this, everybody I knew felt the need to call me, to text me, just boom, 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 one right after the other. And I'm trying to cancel those off, and it keeps trying to return to home. The problem with an Android phone on the return to home, the cancel button is right around the button that minimizes whatever app you got. I need a longer cord so I can flip the phone over. That's going to be ordered. So every time I try to cancel the home, it would, take me back, and I'd have to pull the app back up. So I was having trouble. So now I start thinking, right here, this is a pond. I thought, well, if I can land on the bank of this pond, it's something I can see on a map, I could find it. Well, as I get closer, I realize it's not a pond. Those are actual tracks. It looks like an actual plowed field. So my thought was, I can land in that field. If there's plows, then you can get a vehicle up there. So that's my goal, is to land in that field. Here's the problem. Every time I got low enough to try to land, even if I made it automatically land, it would lose connection and it would try to return to home. Now, my return to home is set for 200 feet. Remember, I started out 600 feet above where we're at. So it was going to go up 800 feet, try to return to me, run out of power, and crash somewhere in the woods. That I knew that was going to happen. What I don't know, and I was afraid to try it at this point, was, can you set a new return to home right there? Or would it put it where the controller was? Would it put it where the drone is? Could I set a new home base right there, and then it would have returned to home at that spot? Before I take it out again, I will know the answer to that. Or if you know the answer, please enlighten me, put in the comments. Could I have set a new home place and then let it return to home right there? But it just kept bouncing. I would get it down to probably, it's hard to tell, but it looked like probably 10 feet or less from the ground, if that far, and I'd lose connection long enough, it would immediately try to return to home. And I did that over and over, and I thought, at this point, I'm calling it everything but an American patriot. I am just yelling, get on the ground, get down, just hit the ground. Because I knew if I let it try to return to home, it was just going to dump right in the middle of the woods, and it was gone. I thought if I had to keep bouncing this up and down until it runs out of battery, then so be it. I took off from an overlook, and it has the rock kind of wall things that it's fence with a rock post. I'm climbing on top of those, trying to get signal. I thought about actually crawling up. I had my wife's van. I actually thought about standing on top of it, trying to, get that signal, because as you can see, it's just feet away from landing. Over and over and over. And the wind was trying to push me into the trees, trying to push me anything but letting it be easy is what was happening. I'm just there the whole time, just panic. Like, get down. Okay, and while this does this, I'll go ahead and tell you. Eventually, I managed to, like I said, keep bouncing this up and down till it ran out of power. It actually got low enough that it landed. You know, basically did the emergency landing that it does. When that happened, I said, okay, now, I've never used the Find My Drone feature. Let's do it. It showed me exactly where it was at. I said, great. How do I get there? So I pull up Google Map, and I'll put the map on here so you can see. And the dark blue line, it's the highway. It shows 6 point something miles. And most of it's highway. 3.2 of it was dirt road, and then there was some walking. Yeah, you can see on the map. I didn't realize there was a road, and you couldn't see it. You couldn't see the road on the map. You couldn't see it from the air. You could not see that road at all. But again, I thought if they plowed that field, which it's a food plot, it looks like, once I got there. I thought if they'd done that, then obviously you can get a vehicle there. So I go flying down there because honestly, I don't want the battery to go dead in it. I want to be able to, use the Find My Drone feature without the battery going dead. And that's a really great feature, by the way. It shows you the distance you are from it, the whole way, the directions you need to go. That is well done. So I go flying down the highway. I get to the dirt road. And I go flying down it, and once my wife saw her van, she said, "Did you go down the dirt road?" I said, "Yeah, at about 60. I mean, I'm just hauling. And I get to basically parallel to it from the road, and there is a log path. It's a road, not in a Chrysler Town and Country sense of road. This may have been where it actually landed. The battery was low enough. It actually did a forced landing right here. Yep, this was it. And there he went. See, you can see this little food plot. It looked like it's still trying to fly. So I go walking. I parked there by the road, and I proceed to walk up there, cross a couple little creeks, streams, whatever you call it, through we've got a lot of rain here lately, so a lot of mud. But once I found this clearing, then it was a matter of trying out the little, and once I got down here, look at the trees that you can see, the tops of those trees. This wind was doing none of this up there where I was at. But you can see those trees just whipping back and forth. That's how strong that wind was. The fact that it could actually hover right there above that little field is pretty impressive. But once I got there and I did the little find me beep and flash option, you couldn't hear it until you got within really about 5 feet from it. The wind was just howling through those trees. So again, you look at those things whipping around. I know all I can say is lesson learned. Now I'll put up a map if I haven't already, once I go back and edit this. But you'll see 2 little stars. The red star, I believe, is where I started. The blue star is where it ended. I've seen these videos about getting blown away and everything. Like, I was real careful. Like I said, today was windy. I did a few shots. I kept them just high enough to get the shot. I didn't even go above tree level. And I did, through the woods, walking, or, down a path. I sent it through the woods, basically head level. Nothing high. I wasn't going to get in. But then the wind died down. All the fog was gone. It's like, oh, it turned into a nice day. Yeah. Again, lesson learned. But I did manage to get Verne home. No damage other than to myself. Had to listen to some smack talk from the wife. So, that was my birthday. Could have been worse. Could have been better. I will know better next time. Alright, time to call Captain Marvel. Here she comes.
Hey, Peter Parker.